I just had your volume on lower, so you were coming in lower, but it turned out fine after on the playback. So
good. And you can always boost it in the edit.
With my esteemed editing skills.
Yeah. It's not that hard to raise a certain gain.
No, my problem is that I can't. I'm not good enough to be able to raise your gain, but not mine separately in like post.
Okay.
I have to I have to work on that anyway.
Well, because it's pulling it in as one. When you pull it in from Zoom, it's pulling it in as one audio track.
Right. So it's a real first world problem.
Yeah.
All right, jabronis, we're back. Got a special guest here. Very last minute edition. We got my brother, Nikipedia, Nicky Sticks, Farva, what have you. So Nick, thanks. This is actually your idea. So thanks for doing this. Another thing, which is very special, is that, and I'll caveat, I don't normally celebrate these, but it's your birthday today.
It is.
So happy birthday.
Thank you.
The only reason I'm saying that is because you're on camera. Otherwise, I feel like a birthday should be celebrated by
with a stiff handshake and a how you doing.
That's it. Yeah. Otherwise, unless you're a kid or like a World War II or Vietnam War vet, you shouldn't be celebrating an adult birthday. So
not Korean War vet, just World War II or Vietnam.
Not Korean too. You know, Ray Romano's dad was a Korean War vet, Frank Barone, so he counts. But thanks for being here. We're going to try to do like a 2-part Christmas special here with you. If we can get the second episode done for Christmas next week. So this first week we're going to talk Christmas movies. You saw that I put up the what's your top 5. We got a good contribution. I got a last minute addition that kind of changes the order a little bit. And then the next week we'll do we'll talk about Libretti family Christmas traditions, and I'm sure that'll be a circus act. So, so we'll get in on that. Maybe have some eggnog and have a good time, share a few laughs. So,
because that was one of our traditions is we always drank eggnog.
Yes, that's right. Always eggnog and struffally a little cookie. How you doing?
And dip the panettone in the eggnog.
Natural, of course.
Natural.
Yeah. Before we get started with the Christmas stuff and the Into the Cage and all that, I want to circle back on last week. I have an update for everybody. So if you listen to last week's episode, I had a little do with Embry-Riddle president about his poor decision making and his cowardice and not addressing the student athletes face to face or even directly with a video or anything. Well, he responded. His office, he actually got back to me directly via email. The email was professionally written, however, just as cowardly and with zero information and explanation as previously. So I responded in kind, professionally, way more professional than I was in the episode when I went on my little rant. And I kind of asked him like a request, like, I'll stop annoying you and coming at you and getting people to aggressively approach you if you have the decency to either meet with the student athletes or record a video message to them, apologizing to them, empathizing with why they're so distraught and sad about the whole decision and why they have so many questions. If you could take a couple minutes to do that, I'll consider that a win, and I'll be done personally. I can't speak for the rest of the student body, but I'll be done, bothering him and emailing his staff and all that. So we're waiting on that. It's been a few days now. I have not heard a response since, but keep a lookout for it, guys. If you're a student athlete or an alumni of Embry-Riddle and you listen to the show, keep a lookout. See if he, again, puts his nuts on the table and addresses the student body directly so that they can get their questions answered. They feel a little bit more wanted and valued like they should be. But anyway, I can go, down that rabbit hole. We're not going to do that. Christmas special family show. So we're going to get right into that. But first, we're going to step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. you might enjoy this, Nick. I'll tell you about this sponsor in a sec here, but today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Nonna Lucrezia's Discount Wooden Spoons. From stirring sauce to hitting your freeloading son upside the head for being a Stugatz, Nonna Lucrezia's has what you need at the prices you can't beat with a wooden spoon. So visit www.nona.com and use the promo code SpoonQueen for 2.7% off your first spoon. Now,
can you get these spoons delivered through Fungal Gabagool?
Well, yes, actually. That's a great question. We worked out a deal between Fungal Gabagool and Nonna Lucrezia, and you can get her spoons delivered directly to your house by Fungal Gabagool. Now, if you're smart and financially, savvy, you get the 2.7% discount on the spoon through the website. And then if you get it through Fungal Gabagool and use the promo code Mozzarella, you get their discount as well on the delivery fee. So Merry Christmas, one and all. Now, for you, Nick, this particular sponsor, I don't know if you know this, but this is Sausage and Peppers 1, his direct descendant, his family member.
The name was familiar, but
right, it is a family member of SMP1, of a very famous and well-to-do Instagram influencer, if you will.
Yeah, that's what he is.
So thank you for him. He set up this business relationship, so I appreciate it. Shout out to SMP1. All right, so this Cage fact, I tried to do a little digging to make it sort of Christmas related.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going through the Nick Cage rabbit hole as I do, which is one of the reasons why we're recording on a Friday instead of earlier in the week, because I went down a week's worth of Nick Cage rabbit hole. So today's Cage fact is, now everybody knows the movie Family Man.
I was gonna say it better be about a Family Man.
We'll talk about more of that in the junction. But in the quick premise of the movie is he has like a what if situation where he goes and gets the lottery ticket, and then what's his name?
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle comes in and puts him in a situation where a life that he could have lived if he chose different paths. If you
it's kind of like a reverse It's a Wonderful Life, if you think about it.
It is, yeah. And I saw many articles comparing the two phenomenal movies.
We'll talk about top tier.
Yeah. They are top tier, yeah. So that's not the only movie that Nick Cage has been in where a lottery ticket changed his life. A lesser known movie, not Christmas movie, called, I gotta read it, It Could Happen to You, was another one where it was more realistic, where I guess, I haven't seen it yet, I guess he meets somebody and they start like flirting or whatever. He's married, and he had like made a joke like, oh, I got this lottery ticket. If I win the lottery, I'll give you half the money or whatever. I don't really know the whole premise, but he ends up winning the lottery, the ticket, and now his wife wants to keep all the money and not give half to the person he made a deal with. And there's a whole, struggle throughout the movie, I guess. I don't know how it played out, but that's the second movie. He's done two where lottery tickets have changed his life. So
when you do the volume of films he's done, you're bound to come across a premise or two, more than once.
Oh, absolutely. And it kind of goes into what we talked about. I think you were the one where we talked about how he has a top Rotten Tomatoes rated movie and a bottom all in the same year. He's done that multiple times.
Yeah.
That's because when you just pump out
when he just shotgun blast.
When you pump out flicks like that,
yeah,
it's bound to happen. So.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's in another gotta steal a lot of cars in one night movie. But it's not Gone in 60 Seconds. It's like something else.
It's something else. Yeah. Maybe like
Jumpstart or something like that.
Yes. Or he's got to steal monster trucks or something.
Yeah. in like Thailand, because it's always filmed.
Oh yeah. He does a lot of Thai features.
Yeah.
So So that's the Cage fact. And talking through, Family Man Christmas movies, let's just move on into the junction and get this thing rolling. So, as you know, what we did is I put out the question of, hey, tell me what your top 5 movies are, Christmas movies. And it was no restrictions. It was what you felt, what your favorite top 5 movies for Christmas. Now, what I personally did was I separated normal, regular 2-hour long movies with the claymation 30-minute, hour-long cartoons, and those are separate. I didn't include those like Rudolph and Grinch in them. I love those movies; they're all top tier for me. But I didn't include those in there because those are like a different conversation for me. I'm not sure how you felt about it.
Of course.
Okay. So,
there's no need to go further.
That's it. So what I did was I got the list of everybody's top 5s. And what I did was I took a tally of the movies that showed up in the most lists from people. So whoever had the most votes, whatever movie had the most tallies of everybody's list that submitted their feedback, that was the number 1 movie in our list. Not necessarily like the unequivocal best. It was just the most popular of the list. So it might have been number 4 on one person's list, but number 2 or 1 on other people's list. If it got on the top 5, it got a tally.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to run through these. Now, like I said, we had a final submission in the 11th hour by the creature himself, Steve Ortman. So he changed a little bit of the numbers. He created a little bit more conversation, debate, if you will. Now, the winner, the number 1 movie, the most popular, outright, even after the creature came in with his list, he actually even added to it. Number 1, Home Alone. It won definitively, as I think it probably should have. It's not my number 1, but it's on my, it's on my list. It's
you can't argue with it. It's like, all right, that I'll give you Home Alone. Like we love Home Alone as the number 1. It, again, like you, it's not my number 1, but there's a very solid argument to be made that it's the number 1.
Absolutely, it is a movie that if it's on, I'm watching. Like it's going to be on the TV. Right. In fact, it's on right now in the background. Well, number 2 is, which we'll, and I'll talk about that in a second, but the Home Alone 1 was on previously, and it's on in the background. I've seen it 15 times this week alone. It's just one of those things. So I'm not
surprises me every time.
Not one bit mad about it. Now, I sent you the list a couple hours ago, initially, right? And I believe the number 2 at the time was outright Elf, correct?
Yeah.
Well, the creature at the 11th hour came in and added to that list. And now there's a tie for number 2 between Elf and Christmas Vacation, the Chevy Chase classic.
Yeah.
Now,
the Chevy Chase Randy Quaid classic.
Randy Quaid is one of the all-time best to ever do the side character. How you doing?
One of the best Quaids out there.
He really is top 2 Quaids.
top 2 Quaids.
So, Christmas Vacation. I'm going to hit Christmas Vacation first because that is one of the funniest movies for me of all time. Christmas or not, the back and forth that the characters have, the little one-off comments that Chevy Chase makes, Randy Quaid just immersing himself into that sleazeball, greasy.
He immersed himself into it so much that he eventually became a sleazeball, stopped paying his taxes, and had to go hide in Canada.
He has become a real-life combination of Cousin Eddie and Russell Case from Independence Day.
Well, Russell Case.
Sir. Told you he wouldn't let us down, and he did it in this movie.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable. So I'm happy that it came up and tied because Christmas Vacation, like objectively, if anybody has seen the movie, would probably agree, like, amazing movie. And if you don't, like, get off the show. Don't watch it. Like, there's no question about it that this is a great movie, a classic every year. It's another one of those I'm watching it when it's on kind of things. Even though on this, like on the TV here at the hotel, it's all the censored version, so
yeah,
it's not as great. But what are your thoughts on it, real quick?
Christmas Vacation. Honestly, I never watched it a lot. Like it wasn't in our normal queue of like when we were younger. So I remember it being very enjoyable, and I love the vacation movies as a whole. I mean, Vegas Vacation, which is the worst one, is still great. European Vacation, the original Vacation with John Candy. Like I like the setup. I like the cast. I like the theme of the vacation film. So it belongs there. But again, not one I'm overly familiar with.
Gotcha. Now, real quick, Nick Papagiorgio in Vegas Vacation. Good
Mr. Papagiorgio? One of the best characters.
Yeah, one of the best, like,
you see this kid? Oh, yeah, Mr. Papagiorgio?
Put $1 in and win a car. Put $1 in and win a car. Anyway, we can't talk about that one.
Yeah.
Now, we got to talk about Elf. I think you and I are in agreement, but this is going to be, I feel like, a highly contested hot take, if you will, because it was in almost every list that we had, just about. So it's obviously a popular Christmas movie. And I should have caveated this earlier. I don't think any Christmas movie is a bad Christmas movie. Like, I love them all. You know me, I'll sit and watch Hallmark Christmas all year, like all Christmas season and even after. So I know bad movies, and I still watch them if they're Christmas related. So let's just put that out there. When we're dogging on movies today, I still don't think they're bad. It's just in the Christmas hierarchy. And here's the hot take. I think Elf is one of the most, if not the most overrated Christmas movie of all time.
I tend to agree, John.
Of all time. Like, what I don't get is, well, you go ahead first because I'm going to lose it here. But
listen, first of all, in my mind, this just might be because of my generation and my age, there's like no Christmas movie, like anything made after like 95, like doesn't count. Like it's gotta be like Home Alone should be the newest one.
that's where it ends.
That's where it ends. Like because when you think of all the classic ones made, it's look at the list, except for Elf and one other one that I'm not even going to discuss when we get to it because I think it's a bunch of nonsense. But besides Elf, everything here is like pre-95. 95 and before.
I'm reevaluating my notes. I got a whole lot of craziness going on here, so you got to bear with me.
Unabomber notes.
This brain here, the Ted Kaczynski. I got in the hotel by myself.
The guy in A Beautiful Mind.
I got a Christmas movie manifesto right here.
You look like what was it? The John Nash from A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah,
they're spies. They're sending me messages.
Yeah, except I have zero positive impacts on society, unfortunately.
I'm not going to win a Nobel Prize for the Cage Fact.
That's right. So, unfortunately, maybe one day. But
listen, I love a Will Ferrell vehicle. I think he does okay. I have a very particular sense when it comes to comedy movies. I hate and this is my biggest hot take. Like I hate Dumb and Dumber. I really do. Look, I don't like a movie where the lead character is so silly and out there where it's just like annoying and it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
Like Elf was so like if that guy was like that to me, if I was James Caan in that movie, I would have punched him. I can't. It's like so annoying.
That's what I'm saying is I'm sorry, I'm writing the
notes.
I'm working here.
You're sweating a little bit.
I am. I got the.
Well, that's why you got to aerate. That's why you got that convertible shirt.
That's why I got Christmas nips out here.
You got that convertible shirt on.
That's right. So. Here's the thing. If you step back from your sentimental like love of Elf folks for a second here, all right? You have a guy who was raised in the North Pole. He's a regular human being raised in the North Pole up to adulthood. Raised by an adult elf. Professor Proton from Big Bang Theory. I forgot his real name. He plays like his surrogate father, I guess. Yeah. All the other adult elves are adults. They act like adults. They're mature. They have jobs. They're well, if you look at them, they're just small adults, like men and women.
Yeah.
Why is Will Ferrell's character a 35 to 40-year-old child still?
John, that was Bob Newhart. You couldn't remember? You couldn't remember his name?
No, I couldn't.
Professor Proton?
I panicked.
Anyway, go
on. But Will Ferrell's character, why is he a child? Did he stop maturing? Like he's eating syrup and spaghetti and candy. He doesn't know he doesn't know like the sound of an elevator makes, and he still freaks out about Santa. You live with Santa Claus, dude. Every day you see him, and then he pisses his pants when he hears Santa's coming. And the way he's a child, which doesn't make sense to me.
To him, like all the other elves, Christmas should be a business. This is like, oh, this is our job. Like, we got to make sure this is done. It's not really a time for joy. It's everyone's time. It's like, no, we got toys to make. We got to put wheels on this train. Right. We got to train the reindeer. Like, this is our business time. And it's literally like he was plopped there, like without any knowledge of the infrastructure or the economy of the pole. Yeah. And just like, oh, this is like Christmas time. Like, no, man, this is work. It's like if you were visiting like the Taco Bell headquarters, they're doing business.
Right. Yeah.
It's not just all gorditas.
They're making chalup daddies. They're making gorditas, Cine Twist. Like, but they're in it. But that's the thing is like, it's like he stopped maturing at age 8. Which doesn't make any sense. And then the whole movie is him being a child. And then it makes it even creepier that he has this like love interest relationship with New Girl, Zooey Deschanel. And it's like, is she like dating a guy with a disability, or is he like, what is the deal with?
Well, no, because she's Zooey Deschanel, so she's quirky.
Yeah, she's quirky, so she gets the fact
I'm so quirky. Yeah. I'm going to play my ukulele, and I'm quirky. Yeah, but I liked New Girl, but she was my least favorite part of it. Like, Schmitty was that entire show.
Yeah, he was good. He was good in that. But
yeah, but again, she's just like, oh, I'm going to wear this flower dress, and I'll go on a picnic. That's all she does.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't get the whole thing. If you know anything about James Caan, Mr. Mafia, like, he would have had Elf whacked. Immediate see ya, and then the life would have gone on. That's it. I just don't understand
that like undertone premise of like, oh, don't let your inner child go away. It's like, yeah, except when you're in a board meeting with what's his name?
Peter Dinklage.
And he's like, he's gonna make or break your company and the 1,000 people who work for you. Right. Don't come in there and like start calling him. First of all, that's just racist, or not racist, but whatever it is, prejudice. He's just like, yeah, it's sizist. Like, that's inappropriate behavior. It is one thing to like not be an adult asshole all the time, but also like you can't be inappropriate.
No, and that's another thing is like, do you not know how to interact with other grown men and women? Like he again acted like a child, like, oh, you're an elf. It's like, no, you idiot. Like, I couldn't get past it. It's not a movie that when I see it on TV, I watch it. In fact, I change it to some other Christmas movie, to Hallmark, honestly.
Yeah.
So I know we're going to catch a lot of flack for that. It was on almost everybody's list, just about. There's only a select few people that did not put it on there. So thank you guys.
I'm taking my generation is at fault there, because like my generation is like, which is like, I guess kind of yours, a little bit younger, but like
kind of the same.
Yeah. The Will Ferrell generation, it was like, oh, that was like our movie. And I'm like, I feel like I was 13 when that movie came out, right? Like, I was 13, 14, like I was in high school. Like there's no childhood connection to that film. I was definitely like in high school when that movie came out.
Right. Now, I do like Christmas movies that came out after that better than Elf. Like, I talk about Fred Claus. I liked Fred Claus. It was not a great movie. It's certainly not on my top 5. A couple people had it, but when look at the end there, when they're all in front of the globe, and what's his name? Saint Nick. I forgot his real name. Santa Claus. What's that?
Who plays him? You don't remember?
No, I forgot. You know who it is though.
Let me see.
He comes up to Vince Vaughn and he goes, "You are the best big brother anyone can ever ask for." After Fred Claus went and delivered all the gifts. I mean, if that doesn't get you a little bit at the end there.
Was it Paul Giamatti?
That's it. Yeah. That was a touching scene, especially, you know how I feel about brothers. So
yeah, you know how I feel about Paul Giamatti.
That's right.
I hope I don't really remember that Fred Claus, but I hope he did it in a super Paul Giamatti. You're the best brother.
He did. You got to go rewatch it. Watch the whole thing. Fred Claus, underrated film. It really is. Elf, overrated. Now, we're gonna move the list because we got a lot of movies to talk about, and you know us. We're just gonna be running our dick suckers all day here. Ortman came in hot. Creature again. He is the real X factor today. So shout out to the Creature. Bumping up to take over the number 3 slot is the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
So I'm looking at the list you sent me before.
So it was a 3-way tie, right? Between Santa Claus, Jingle All the Way, and Die Hard, I think?
No. 3 was just between Santa Claus and Die Hard.
Okay, so Santa Claus took it over by 1.
Yeah, okay. That, again, love the Santa Claus. We had the VHS, and I remember the card that he had, like, that has all the Santa rules on it?
Yeah.
The VHS had the card.
Very clever.
I definitely think Die Hard is better, but
yeah,
and finally, after years of me saying it, that somebody put this theory out on Facebook this year, and I was so happy. Just again, love the Santa Claus. I love the weenie whistle. Love Judge Reinhold. I love Barabbas. But huge plot hole in the Santa Claus is that if none of the adults think Santa is real,
right?
But Santa is in fact real.
I'm following.
Who do the parents think is bringing the presents?
That's the mystery, and I will credit you that you have stuck to that theory. You've identified that plot hole since the day the movie came out, since the day we first watched it as a child, as a young farva.
A farvling, if you will.
Right. So you were ahead of the game. I'm happy somebody else finally came on board with that and put it in an article. I think BuzzFeed is only 20 years late on that one. Shocker.
Yeah, like they always are.
Right. But it doesn't make any sense. How are the gifts getting there? If Santa's fake and you're not doing it, it doesn't add up. And the fact that that super smart Judge Reinhold couldn't figure that out, Or, that's what happens when you don't want to believe in something. When you have that bias, you shut your brain off, and that's that.
Or Harrison Ford's wife from Air Force One.
That's right, yeah. I forgot her real name.
I don't even know if she was one of those like great mid-90s wife characters.
Wives, yeah, spouse.
like the one from Untouchables. She always plays a wife.
That is true too. I forgot her name.
I don't know. Mom.
The wife. Yeah.
Just mom.
Mom. So, I like the Santa Claus. Even I remember when I was a kid, I used to dress like Santa Claus and do the chair reindeer thing, like Charlie did in the movie. So there's a place in my heart for Santa Claus. I like it, but it's a good debate between that and Die Hard for me as well, because we all know how we both feel about Die Hard. We talked about that pretty exhaustively in our Gruber Brothers debate. Mm-hmm. So that we will do. I think Family Show Terrence wants to come on maybe and do a Die Hard trilogy discussion one day. So maybe the three of us can get that going. But we'll talk about Die Hard separately. Mm-hmm. I do like Die Hard. There is the big debate between whether it's a Christmas movie.
It's not a debate anymore. It's not a debate anymore. It's a Christmas movie, and everyone should just leave it at that. It's not funny to debate it anymore. It's a Christmas movie, and I think we all know that.
I think so too. It does spark a debate for whether It's a Wonderful Life is a Christmas movie and whether Family Man is a Christmas movie, and I think some other ones that happen at Christmas. But at the end of the day, I think all three of them are Christmas movies, and I watch them anyway.
On the show I was on the other night, somebody said like, "Oh, to make a Christmas movie, it has to be like Christmas has to be like kind of the central theme or whatever." When I'm like, "Well, It's a Wonderful Life," which is a ranked like one of the most beloved Christmas movies,
tops.
Only the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes take place during Christmas, and there's no other Christmas stuff the entire rest of the movie.
No, but
it has the spirit. It has the spirit.
That's the thing, is at the end, it's all like that's the spirit that Christmas kind of brings out, or it should bring out anyway. Now, Wonderful Life. Well, we'll talk about Wonderful Life after, because it didn't make the overall list, but we'll talk after. I do want to throw in another wrench that the Creature. He's really been blowing it up today.
That's what he does best, man. He's a messer. He just comes in. He screws with the system. He's a rebel.
He really is. He is anti-system Creature.
Yeah.
he came in with his number 5 pick. He said, look, if everybody is going to call Die Hard a Christmas movie, I'm calling Rocky IV a Christmas movie, and it's now my number 5. Which is a wild, out of nowhere proclamation, and I'm about it. I am all about, you know how I feel about Rocky IV. I know how you feel about it. So it's not on my list, but I have to mention that, like, a lot of respect goes out to him for taking that leap. And, just an incredibly surprising pick. And I couldn't be happier that somebody had the chutzpah, the scruples to go out on a limb like that.
And I think at the end, Rocky gave us the greatest gift of all, which is capitalism.
That's right. Brought down the wall.
Brought down the wall. Yeah, Merry Christmas here.
Incredible, out of left field pick. So now, with that said, now number 5 is sort of up in the air between so what did you have for number 4? It was another 3-way tie, I believe, right?
No, so number 4 was Die Hard Santa Claus.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Number 5 was a 3-way tie.
That's right.
Between Home Alone 2, which is since Terminator 2, not a better sequel been made.
Right.
Just epic. Jingle All the Way, again, not one of my favorites.
Yep.
And this is the one that pisses me off because this is like the new one everyone's sucking the dick of. Sorry, Terrence. Christmas Chronicles.
Now, sorry, family show, Terrence. We'll just go in order. First, well, Home Alone 2. That was something that I've gotten feedback on from multiple people this week, that it is an interchangeable sequel to Home Alone.
That's what makes it good, though.
That's why it's so good. But I think a lot of people, when having to decide at the end, the pressure's on, most people went with Home Alone 1 over 2. I could see that as well. But Home Alone 2 is one of those movies that it's interchangeable from the first one. Very few sequels can ever say that. And many can argue justifiably that Home Alone 2 might be better in some aspects than 1.
It's the Godfather 2 of Christmas movies.
It really is. I said that, actually, I was having that conversation with the Wet Cat because he had Home Alone 1 on his over Home Alone 2 over 1. And I said, look, it could be argued that it's the Godfather 2 of Christmas movies.
It's the Godfather 2.
It really is. So I'm sad to see it down on the list a little bit, but it's one of those where it's like, it's 1 and 2. Home Alone, when I hear Home Alone, I think of both of them simultaneously.
Yeah. Only 1 and 2.
Right.
It's a package deal. It's like continuing the story. It's like the Lord of the Rings. Like you gotta watch the next one. It's like part of the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other Home Alones, 3, 4,
garbage.
They're not even changed.
One of them had French Stewart in it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about French Stewart.
Yeah.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah,
that poor bastard.
Isn't he just the worst?
He is tough to be a part of. But anyway, moving on. Well, just Home Alone 2, like Universal, great movie. Jingle All the Way I liked it. I watched it again last night because that's all I do right now is watch Christmas movies. It's a good movie.
It's not bad. I mean, the combination of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad is interesting, and then Phil Hartman just plays like
he's great. God rest his soul.
Yeah, God bless.
He was great as just that sleazeball, aggressively harassing human being.
I think he was much better in Small Soldiers, but I'll give
also good. Also good in Small Soldiers.
I think World War II was my favorite one.
He was good. I forgot about that quote. That's great.
Just eating chips, watching Patton.
Yeah, that sounds like JPL 3.
Yeah, no, World War II was definitely my favorite.
Definitely favorite of the wars. But he
followed closely by Civil War.
Yeah. Sinbad, we got to talk about this for a second. I think you mentioned it on your show that you did last night that I watched, the live show. Sinbad is a terrorist. How did that how did he get away with being a terrorist? He threatened multiple people with package bombs. One actually blew up. One was a bomb.
And listen, we come from a mailman family.
Oh yeah, nothing but respect for the postal service.
Yeah, listen, through rain, sleet, or snow, and a big thermos full of Zambuca, like mailmen get it done.
Package bomb.
You're gonna get that package bomb, unless the guy from First Kid is your mailman,
right? And then priority shift. That's one problem I did have with Sinbad is that he didn't finish his job. And that's something that our grandfather would have a real problem with if he was still alive today watching that film. Because a lot of mail did not get delivered that day because Sinbad was on the warpath.
Grandpa might have not been the most clever guy, but whatever he was doing, he finished it.
He did.
We might have not wanted him to finish it, but by God, he finished it.
Don't forget about Frankenshelf. We'll talk about that in another episode.
No, that's a whole.
That's an unbelievable story, folks. The Frankenshelf, but
of ingenuity and determination against the odds and against our wishes.
We gotta leave it as a cliffhanger though, because that's another rabbit hole that I want to get down. But Jingle All the Way was a fun, entertaining kind of movie. It's one of those you can kind of shut your brain off and just enjoy it. You got Schwarzenegger, put that cookie down. You got Phil Hartman groping.
Who said you could eat my cookies?
And you got Sinbad.
That's the thing of those is I don't know if like I get Arnold in a comedic role. Like I enjoy him, like a Kindergarten Cop, for example. But it only works as like hilarious. It only works as like you gotta play into the fact that he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes. So like Kindergarten Cop is like, oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like badass cop with the gun and the shit as a kindergarten teacher. That's fun. Him just like as a regular dad, like it's not like he's like ex-Navy SEAL. He was nothing. He was just like a dad.
Right. But but Phil Hartman, I don't know if you remember this, he came in with a alpha jab after another argument between Schwarzenegger and his wife, where he's like, I can explain it. She's like, no, you can't talk you can't explain this one. You let us down again. And Phil Hartman goes, you can't bench press your way out of this one, pal.
I can see him saying that too.
Which is, and then he walks away into the sunset, which is like, this is such a great jab at Schwarzenegger. He's identifying like, you're a meathead. I don't know how you live the successful life you do. You just pick things up and put them down. So he really stuck it to him with that one. Yeah. So that's why I don't mind the movie at all.
It's okay. I like it.
Right. Again, I don't think any Christmas movie is really a bad movie. So maybe I'm a little biased, but I enjoyed it. Now, Christmas Chronicles, I liked it.
I haven't seen it, but it rubs me the wrong way.
Right. Well, you got to see it.
Okay.
I watched it again this week, and then I watched Christmas Chronicles 2 for the first time this week as well. Both on Netflix. Go check it out. 2 was not as good as 1. It was still kind of entertaining, but 1 was a good movie. It was off my radar initially. It wasn't anything that I was like, I refuse to watch it, blah, blah, blah. But we're both very pro Kurt Russell fans.
Yeah. Kurt Russell with any kind of facial hair is usually a good flick from Tombstone or Tombstone.
Yeah, Tombstone. No, he was in the movie Bone Tomahawk.
That was good. He was also in the Tarantino one. Hateful Eight,
Magnificent Seven, or something like that.
Yeah, no, the Hateful Eight, where he had that he had that beautiful.
It was a stunning stash, a stunning mustache.
It was an SS.
It really was. But you go check it out. I really enjoyed the movie. I liked it way better than Elf, for sure. Okay. Better than Elf. Even though it's a newer movie, it's outside of the threshold of 1995 Christmas movies. Yeah. But go watch it again if you haven't. Now, I do have to make mention of this because I know he's listening, but everyone's favorite union leader, Dominic Della Pia, had Christmas Chronicles on the list, and he did try to rig the election by pumping Christmas Chronicles from troll accounts There was one.
See, this is how these guys keep getting elected to the heads of their respective unions.
That's it.
This is why he's the head of whatever pipe fitters 232.
Yeah, the Northbergen Local 232.
Yeah.
But Frosty just came on the TV, by the way. Did you see
that? Man. Burl Ives? No, Burl Ives was Rudolph.
That was Rudolph. Yeah,
that was Rudolph.
So he came in. Actually, I saw one troll account. It was just pictures of antique televisions. That's all it was. It looked like a serial killer's Instagram page, and all 5 of them, the list names were Christmas Chronicles. So now, on the technicality, that's one movie, so you can only be counted once. Now, I didn't clarify that, but I shouldn't have to. I know I'm going to get shit for that in my email hate from the troll account, I'm sure. But again, it's like, I'm happy Christmas Chronicles made it up that high and was that popular. I think it's an underrated movie. It's a good movie. Go check it out if you haven't. Better than Elf. I can't tell you how overrated I think Elf is. So, yeah, go check that one out. Now, I do want to talk about a couple quick honorable mentions.
There's several. I think there's. Okay. Go.
We talked about Fred Claus. That was on there.
All right.
A couple. Look at the list here. I got a couple for Bad Santa.
All right.
Which
Billy Bob.
It's not my top 5. It's a good film, entertaining. It's a little more adult, so that's probably why not as many people watch it, because they like to watch Christmas movie with their families and such. Polar Express got on there, which I was actually surprised less people put that on there. But I don't know. It's an okay movie. I enjoyed it, I guess, a little bit. It's not a rewatch for me. I'm not going to watch it every time it's on.
Right.
I don't know if you enjoyed it or not.
It's okay.
Yeah. Good.
And okay.
Wonderful Life got on there. I'll talk about that on my list. Christmas Story got on there. Also talk about that on my list. Another one. Well, Family Man was on there too. One completely out of left field that I have to mention only because of this. Love Actually.
We talked about this the other night on my podcast, on the podcast I was on as well. Does that count, or is it a movie that takes place during Christmas?
Look, even if it counts, absolutely not on the top 5 for anybody. The fact I could not believe it was on anyone's list, and from the person I saw it on, I'm not going to identify. I got to protect the innocent here.
But they're not innocent.
You can go check it out. It's on the page. It's on the Facebook page. I couldn't believe. I thought they did it as a joke. They still might have. But Love Actually, like, the only reason to watch that movie is because Hans Gruber's in it. That's it.
And he's not even like German.
He's not even doing Hans Gruber stuff.
Yeah.
It's not even like, you just watch his scenes and that's it. Hugh Grant, I can't believe people like him. He's unattractive. He's not funny. You can't understand a word he says. He's a bumbling idiot.
And he cheated on Elizabeth Hurley with a $2 Stroessel.
A dime store hooker.
Yeah, a dime store hooker.
I couldn't believe it. I can't believe he even got Elizabeth Hurley to begin with. That's another conversation.
Yeah, it's a whole other episode.
Love Actually has to be mentioned because it's such an outrageous pick. I have to believe that was a troll pick to get us hot and bothered. I have to believe it because it's such a bullshit pick. Sorry, Terrence, family show. But anyway, every other pick, I even got A Nightmare Before Christmas that is could debatably be a Christmas movie if you want to talk about that. But every other pick made sense. Love Actually, absolutely not. I don't care if it's only about Christmas. It's trash. Stop it. All right, that's it. That's all I got on that.
Okay.
Now we'll go into our list, and I do want to provide another Libretti caveat here. A top 5 Christmas movie list is very tough to do.
It is. I don't even have an order for mine. There's just like, these are the 5, but there's no order.
No, and that's another thing is, like, I say 5, but like in my head I got 15.
Yeah.
Because there are so many classics that I rewatch. When we talked about 10 already that I could easily be in my top 5 on any given day, however I'm feeling that day, So I'm going to let you go first and see how we match up.
All right, so the ones that we've talked about already, there again, I consider Home Alone 1 and 2 as like a continuous story. Yeah, it's the same movie. So definitely Home Alone 1 and 2. Definitely Christmas Story, like you mentioned. It's a Wonderful Life. My two that I'm shocked and a little hurt that they're not on here, and it is weird because they're basically, it's the same story they're telling. Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yep.
And Scrooge.
Okay, now I do have to apologize. They were on there. I forgot to write them down because they were on my list of out of left field ones too.
Okay.
Scrooge is a fantastic movie. Bill Murray's good. He's one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
But in that movie in particular, if you haven't watched Scrooge, you're an asshole because it's an incredible rendition of Christmas Carol, the likes of which you've never seen before.
First of all, they started. So you remember in what's the Ben Stiller Tropic Thunder where they had the fake trailers in the beginning?
Yes.
Scrooge started that when they had
first of its kind.
Yeah, what was his name though? He has like a very like action name. The actor, like
I forgot,
Strider Johnson or something like that.
It was like I forget,
but he was like
Striker or something.
Yeah, like it was like defending Santa with a machine gun from like terrorists.
Oh yeah, and it was so far ahead of its time by doing something like that. Yeah, like a fake sponsor, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
So
great modern rendition of the all-time classic tale.
It really is. It's an unbelievable movie. Another rewatchable one. I watched it 3 times this week alone. Again, every time it's on, I keep it on. Yeah. And then going over into Muppet Christmas Carol, another incredible movie. If you haven't seen, that's such an offshoot movie because people don't even realize, like when you talk about it, they're like, oh, I didn't even think about that one. Well, you got to start thinking about it.
Start thinking about it. Yeah.
You have to. What I really love about it, and I just read about this recently.
Is it the Michael Caine thing?
The Michael Caine thing. Yeah. So in an interview, I guess, I don't know when he did it, Michael Caine stated that when he received that he was going to be doing the role, found out he was going to be doing it, he decided to play the role as if he was playing with only real human actors. He was playing it as serious as you can possibly play a Scrooge character. There just happened to be Muppets. Now, knowing that and going back to the movie, it's incredible like how good he did in the movie because he was a damn good Scrooge. And you can go back to all the previous Scrooges. Bill Murray, Patton.
I was going to say George C. Scott.
George C. Scott. That's
Patrick Stewart.
All of them, yeah. They all played it seriously.
Scrooge McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck is another great.
I mean, it's literally it's in his title.
But Michael Caine nailed it. And the fact that there are now Muppets involved makes it that much better. It's such a fun movie to watch with kids, with adults. You can watch it at a drunken Christmas party. It's a fun, entertaining movie. I couldn't believe only one person had it on their list. I can't believe who it was from. It was from our sister. So thank God she had, again, the scruples to go out on a limb and throw it out there. The
Scroogels, if you will.
The Scroogels. And I will. So is that all on your list? Is that everybody?
I mean, in terms of the top ones, I mean, Die Hard definitely is up there. But like definitely the two that just weren't mentioned that like I feel have to be mentioned was Scrooge and Muppet Christmas Carol. I mean,
absolutely,
and not including the obvious ones that you said the like claymation.
Those are different, different class altogether. Very good movies. Also, I have all of them on DVD actually because I'm a psychopath. But so my list is it might be the same as yours.
Yeah.
So I try to actually put them in order, and most of my order is based on personal preference and not what I think is a better movie per se.
Right. Which is different.
Right. Now, number one for me is Wonderful Life. I'm gonna get a little lame here, for lack of a better term, a little beta. Jimmy Stewart's character, George Bailey, he reminds me so much of our grandfather Al Scalingi in that, like, I'm living for others kind of mentality.
Yeah.
I don't know if Big Al ever got angry like George Bailey did at the end, where he wished he was never born. I think Grandpa Scalingi was a little.
Yeah, he was a little more tighter. Yeah, he was okay.
Yeah, I think he dealt with it a little bit better.
Except when the Mets lost.
Right. Yeah. Then he was punching holes in the walls, literally. Yeah. But that whole like mentality that hit home to me. So every time I watch that movie, I always think of Grandpa Scalingi living for others, and that's something too. Like even at our grandfather's funeral, it was a packed house. And I always think back to at the end where he's got in his little Bible that he got from Clarence, or the book he got, that said, "No man is a failure who has friends." And man, does that like hit home hard when I think about that movie. And I immediately associate it with Grandpa Scalingi, who, like I spent as much time as I could with him, learn from him and everything. So that movie gets me every time. It's one of the few films, like non-real life situations, that gets me choked up, besides like Rocky 4 or Rocky 3 when Mickey dies.
Can we not?
We can't. No, I mean, I'm going to do it now with George Bailey. But at the end there, where everyone comes together and is giving him money, because his family business needs it. He's losing everything because of that rascal Potter.
I want to see like the extended scene where like Potter gets arrested for stealing $8,000,
which was a monumental
from a local hero.
I know. How is he not even in cuffs at all? Like,
and this is the 1940s. They probably shot him.
Oh yeah, he probably would have hit the chair, no doubt. The electric chair. But
the electric wheelchair.
Yeah, his electric wheelchair. At the end, when everyone's coming together and his brother comes out of nowhere, the war hero, and he goes, "Here's to George, the richest man in town." Oh, my dude, I'm losing it right now thinking about it. I haven't even watched the movie yet.
I'm gonna bring a little levity. Do you remember?
You gotta, because
that episode of Rocko's Modern Life where there was something about like cars or getting your license, and it was like, "Oh, Dad, teacher says like every time a car gets its muffler, an angel gets its wings," right. And then Dad's like, "Your teacher's full of snot."
That's right. I forgot about that. Great show, Rocko's Modern Life. Great pull.
No, but the acting, the premise. I mean, Clarence, the evil, like that. Potter was a Barrymore. Like that's acting royalty.
He is. Yeah, he's on the.
It was a Frank Capra directed it. Like, it's taken outside of the Christmas realm, one of literally just the best films ever made.
Oh yeah, and I'm a big Jimmy Stewart fan. So I've seen most of his stuff. He's actually, he was a real veteran too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he flew like several, like 20 or 30 bombing missions.
Yeah. I love a big fan of Jimmy Stewart.
And he was in one of the great westerns, Johnny, that we saw as children. Do you remember which western where he played the old retired sheriff?
Oh, are you talking about 5-0 Goes West?
5-0 Goes West.
One of the all-time top westerns.
All-time top. Oh, gee.
Top cartoon mouse westerns. But,
get out of here,
kid. I can't speak more like highly of any movie. I don't even know how to get that communication out there. Like,
take a drink of water. You're verklempt, man. I
am verklempt, big time. Top movie for me. That's why it's my number one from a personal basis. My number two is Christmas Story.
It had to be. It had to be.
And that's another thing. I mean, me, how obsessed I am with that movie. There's a lot of debate on whether it's funny and kind of stupid and it gets old after a while. They have the marathon.
It's hilarious.
It never gets old to me. There's so many good like side jokes and side scenes in there that are so funny. Every time I watch it, every different scene, I'm like, oh, here's the best part. Oh no, this is the best part. Oh, this is like. It's so funny with the old man and his like one-offs and the leg lamp. I have my own, like everything about it. I can't like it's on Christmas Day. It'll be on the TV all day. Every year it is. It's always on.
Yeah, it's a clinker. That
And then when he thinks it's Italian, that's great too, because that's like when you when you interact in real life with non-Italians and they do stuff like that, it's hilarious.
Oh,
so
fragile.
that was so relatable that just some jabroni from the Midwest is like, oh, that must be Italian. No,
you used up all the glue on purpose.
The conspiracy theory.
And then all he can, what was the only words he can get out at the end?
Not a finger. Unforgettable line. An unforgettable line. And the narration and how he described each scene and communicated it was
it was poetic.
It was so poetic and grabbed you, so grabbing, if you will.
What did he say about the leg? It was like the 4 feet of glowing sex in the window.
So electric sex.
Electric sex in the window. So yeah, statue.
I have as much memorabilia as I can. I got shirts. I got mugs. I had a mini leg lamp for my nightstand. I had the Monopoly game. Like, that is a absolute must-have on my list for me.
And I think it encompasses the there's the debate, Wonderful Life, Die Hard, Love Actually, all these. It's literally the most Christmas movie because it's not like magical, which some other Christmas movies are magical. They have Santa Claus, but like Christmas is the driving force in a realistic setting, not like a Home Alone where it's like we still I love it, but it's like a bunch of or a Christmas Carol where it's like a real family dealing with Christmas, and the parents have to realistic. They have to buy all this stuff. Yeah, and have to buy all this stuff, and then they're like tired the next morning, and then the dogs eat the turkey. It's like what realistic families in the Midwest have to deal with on Christmas.
All the real shit you got to go through as a family and as a kid who's their world. The most important thing in their world is the Christmas gift that they asked Santa for. Are they going to get it or not? How can I find ways to make sure I get this? Like all the little scheming that he did with putting the thing in the magazine and talking about bears and all that other wily shit that Ralphie did.
Quick caveat. What was that gift for you? What was the one you remember that you put it on your list and you really, really wanted it?
Well, there were two things. One, when I was really young, it was a bulldozer truck, a Tonka bulldozer truck.
Did you get it?
I got it. I didn't have to do as much
scheming.
It was just one of those I got a sandbox outside. This bitch needs a Tonka truck. And I think we have it on film of me opening it. And I was like, oh, a bulldozer. We did it.
We did it, guys.
And then the second one for me was Nintendo 64.
I was going to say it was 64.
So we had
a ball.
We did. With Nintendo 64, actually, you know what? I'm not talking about that. We'll talk about that on next week's episode with Ready Family Christmas Tradition, because I actually have the Nintendo 64 down here with me. So we'll talk about that whole story afterwards.
Sure.
But let's keep on the movie subject matter. After Christmas Story, it was tough. Everything after that is a complete crapshoot for me. It's the Home Alones, Die Hard, Scrooge, Muppet Christmas Carol. They're all on a Christmas Vacation. Yeah. They're all completely interchangeable. Did I miss any? I don't think so. I have Family Man up there in the conversation. As you know, why wouldn't I?
Right.
It's a Cage classic, so I gotta keep that in the conversation. But all those other movies that we talked about, Christmas Vacation, The Home Alones, Die Hard, they're all interchangeable. 3, 4, 5.
I'm surprised he hasn't done more Christmas work.
Maybe he will.
Nick Cage. I could see him in some kind of weird movie where he is Santa Claus.
Yeah, I mean he's able to pull off movies where he has a beard. I don't know if you've seen a classic called Army of One, where
I watched it with you during Christmas.
Bin Laden.
We watched it Christmas week. I think we watched it Christmas night.
We did watch it back home back in the day. That's right. That's a phenomenal feature film.
Yeah.
But
another Christmas classic.
I could see him being a Santa Claus type, a weird Nick Cage, a Santa Cage, if you will.
Yeah.
So
a Nick Claus, if you will.
And I will. Family Man is up there. All those other ones that we talked about. Scrooge is great. I always got to keep that on the list. Muppet Christmas Carol really does have a soft spot, a place in my heart, because we watched it as kids. We had it on VHS. It was one of those things that all three of us, you, me, and our sister, all watched and loved. Right. There's so many little funny things in there with the Muppets and stuff. I'm a big Gonzo fan. I look like Gonzo, so naturally I flock to that, but go check that one out. That's why it's on in the conversation, right. But again, top 5 for Christmas movies is such a tough thing to do, to have to make that decision, because I almost feel bad sometimes where it's like, oh, I don't want Scrooge to feel left out because I didn't put him in my top 5 or whatever, even though it's just a damn movie. It's not.
I think when it comes down to it, the only way to really vote is out of all these movies, how many, which ones can you watch the most and not get tired of it? Like I said, I don't mind Christmas Vacation, but I don't know if I'm going to watch that. I can definitely not watch as many times as I can watch Christmas Story or Home Alone or Scrooge. Right. I can watch Scrooge all the time.
Yeah, oh yeah, and that's why all the movies on my list are those movies that are all rewatchable. And I've watched them all multiple times every year, including this year. This week alone, I watched them multiple times.
Aren't you working to defend our country? How many times did they let you watch Scrooged on the job?
Well, listen, I don't want to dog too much on Freeform, the TV station, because I don't know enough about them to attack them, but they play the same movies every day. It's a cycle, the same movies. I watch the Home Alones. When I turn the TV on and it's on, it's just Home Alones 1 and 2, all the Santa Clauses, and then AMC. You could pop over to AMC and you watch Christmas Vacation, Scrooged.
Yeah, just on a continuous loop.
Yeah, and then they started playing Love Actually yesterday, and that's when I had to turn off AMC. And that's when I flipped on Hallmark on my computer because enough was enough. I'm not watching Love Actually. I'm not giving them my Nielsen rating, watching AMC Love Actually.
Your Nelson Mandela rating?
That's right, yeah. My Morgan Freeman rating.
I'm surprised no one said a Hallmark movie in their vote.
No, actually, I'm surprised too. I only know of 2 other people that watch them.
Well, they're all the same movie, so all you have to say is Hallmark movie, and a company they all count as one movie.
Yeah. Some well-falutin girl goes back to her hometown, gets stuck in a snowstorm, and then meets Tucker, her childhood crush. And
they go to the ice festival.
Yeah, he's a lumberjack turned lawyer. They go to the ice festival together. He catches her falling while they're ice skating, and they do smooches under the mistletoe. And then towards the end, there's a little bit of strife for them because he finds out something he doesn't like, and then they get back together.
At the pageant, the nativity play outside of the church,
Jubilee, because every small town has the Christmas Jubilee. That's when they get back together.
And for some reason, her dad is always Ed Asner.
Yeah, it's always Ed Asner, and he always happens to be Santa Claus too. There's always some magic.
There's always look at him are you Santa Claus?
Are you the Claus?
Are you supposed to be Santa Claus?
Yeah, that's it. And then the movie ends. And then you watch the next movie, and it's the same thing, with Danica McKellar instead of Lacey Chabert or whatever her name is. And why do I know these names? Because I watch all the damn movies, and I don't mind telling you. So, all right, I think that's all we got.
I think it is.
I'm happy you were able to come on your birthday.
Absolutely.
You probably had other things you could have been doing.
No.
Like sitting in your room.
Yep.
Doing push-ups.
No.
I tried to help you out there, buddy.
It was enough just to get up to come do this.
To get up, yeah, I know. It's tough.
But yeah, this was awesome. Absolute pleasure. I'm off all this week, so let me know if you want to do the other one. Let me know.
So stay tuned, everybody. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I can't wait. I hope I hear backlash from the whole elf conversation and some others. I can't wait to check up on that. But thank you guys. I love you all. Stay tuned for the premiere of part 2 of the Christmas special, the LPDS Christmas special, because that's when we're going to get into Libretti family traditions. And you want to hear about a circus act, we'll talk to you about that next week. All right. Thank you guys again. I love you all, and stay strong. And I was talking to your mother just the other night. Told her I thought you were an asshole. She said, yes, I think you're right.
and all.